Okay, so imagine this, you're walking through this like super crowded market, right? And there are all these sights and sounds and smells all
Mhm.
around you, like street food sizzling and vendors calling out their wares. And then you see this like really charismatic person, someone who just draws you in and like totally knows how to sell. That's the world of the hawker. And today we're going deep, really deep into what it takes to not just make it in this world, but to like really crush it.
It's wild how we always think hawker and we just think food stalls, you know?
Yeah.
But it's so much bigger than that.
Seriously, I was blown away by how many different paths you can take with this. We're going to break down all the skills, the tech, even like a whole career ladder you wouldn't believe, all thanks to RoleCatcher. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
So, RoleCatcher. They define a hawker as a mobile salesperson. And when they say goods and services, they aren't kidding around.
Yeah.
Street food, that's a classic, but we're also talking clothes, crafts, vintage stuff. I even saw someone hawking dog walking.
That's exactly it. That entrepreneurial spirit, you know? It's incredible. They're not just salespeople, they're doing it all. Marketing, running their own business, managing inventory sometimes, all in one day.
Talk about a hustle. And speaking of hustle, RoleCatcher says these are some of the must-have skills. Persuasion, speaking, active listening, even like sales and marketing. Wait a minute. Persuasion, speaking, active listening. Are we really sure this isn't a nightmare job for an introvert in disguise?
Well, it takes a special kind of person, that's for sure. You need to be adaptable, connect with anyone, have the stamina to keep going, even when it's like pouring rain, or if the competition is fierce, it's definitely not easy. But that connection with your customers, that chance to build something amazing from nothing, that's got to be so rewarding.
That's true. That whole face-to-face thing, reading your customer, changing how you're selling based on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You can't learn that kind of stuff at a desk job. Which actually makes me think about the whole technology side of things. The guide mentions it's changing the game, but what does that even look like for a hawker? I mean, this is all about personal touch, right? So are we talking like mobile payments, social media marketing while they're working?
Oh, absolutely. And it goes way beyond that. Think about it. A hawker could be using location-based advertising to find customers near their cart, using online reviews to build their reputation, maybe even working with delivery services to reach even more people. This isn't like your grandma's street vendor anymore. Tech is opening up so many doors.
It's like they're taking this old school hustle and bringing it straight into the 21st century.
Yeah.
And that's got to be where a tool like RoleCatcher can really change the game, don't you think? It's not just a guide, it's like this secret weapon for those who know how to use it.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, right? It's giving these entrepreneurs the knowledge to make their business even better, find a wider audience, and just be more successful.
Most people hear career path, and hawker probably isn't the first thing that pops into their head. But RoleCatcher lays out this whole structured path, from entry level all the way up to senior hawker managing their own team. Who knew there was like a hawker corporate ladder?
And getting to the top of that ladder takes more than just like a winning smile and smooth talking. We're talking serious market analysis, understanding the best times to sell, what's hot each season, even how much the competition is charging. They're managing stock, maybe even handling all the logistics of working with a team. It's like running a whole business, but instead of an office, their storefront is the city itself.
It's amazing how much is going on that we never even think about. We see someone selling something, but we don't see the strategy, the business smarts, all that hustle behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting. You know, we're peeling back all those layers and seeing how much sophistication goes into something that seems so simple. It's as dynamic as the city streets themselves.
It just makes me think of, this whole gig economy thing everyone's talking about. It's like the same idea of being independent, setting your own hours, that direct connection with your customers.
Such a good point. And it really makes you wonder, like, what's next for hawking? We've got these gourmet food trucks now, right? So who's to say other hawkers can't step it up too?
Right. Like imagine if you had these pop-up cheese shops on wheels or vintage clothing boutiques that just roll up on your block. Maybe even like a mobile dog groomer.
I love it. The possibilities are endless, really.
Okay, but let's be real for a second, right? No job is perfect.
Yeah.
What about the downsides? Behind all those awesome products and sales pitches, what are some of the challenges hawkers face?
Well, the RoleCatcher guide doesn't sugarcoat it, that's for sure. One of the biggest things is the income. Like, it's not always consistent. You're making money based on how hard you work, but then you've got things like weather, competition, even local events that can totally mess up your plans.
It's like you're running a business boot camp every single day.
Yeah.
You have to be able to just roll with the punches, that's for sure.
No kidding. And then there's a whole physical part of it, long hours on your feet, usually outside, dealing with heavy stuff sometimes. Rain or shine, you got to keep going.
Makes you think about that whole weathering the storm saying in a whole new way.
And speaking of navigating tough stuff, the guide mentions permits and regulations. I bet those can be a real pain depending on where you're trying to set up shop.
Oh, totally. Knowing the local laws, getting all the right licenses, figuring out where you can and can't sell, it's a whole thing. You need that entrepreneurial spirit, but you also got to be ready to deal with the paperwork.
So it's not enough to have an awesome product and a killer sales pitch. You also have to be fluent in bureaucracy. Seems like a lot to handle.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, but for those who are up for a challenge, who really want to be their own boss, it can be amazing. Building your own customer base, being a part of your community, that feeling of accomplishment, that's
Yeah.
huge.
I can definitely see the appeal. But let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, this sounds kind of cool, but quitting my job and just jumping into this whole hawker thing is a little scary.
Yeah.
Is there a way to test it out first?
For sure. And the guide talks about this too. Starting small, maybe just doing it part-time, is a great way to get your feet wet.
Like become a weekend hawker.
Exactly. You could try selling at local fairs, farmers markets, community events, things like that. It's a good way to try out your products, practice your sales skills, and just see if it's something you really love.
It's a smart way to see if it's a good fit, right? Even with all the challenges we talked about, there's something really cool about this whole thing. Maybe it's that connection you get with your customers, seeing the results of all your hard work, or even just that feeling of building something from scratch.
Yeah. Totally. It's that entrepreneurial spirit, that drive, the creativity, the whole experience you're creating for the customer.
And in this world where everything's online, algorithms, shopping carts, that human element is more important than ever.
You got it. It's about those interactions, building those relationships, becoming a familiar face in your community. That's how you turn someone who's just browsing into a loyal customer.
Like they say, people buy from people.
Right.
We might be talking about hawkers, but it's really about those basic things.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, adapting, connecting with people.
100%. And looking ahead, it's going to be so interesting to see how hawking changes. Will we see even more tech? Maybe people will get super specific with their niches. Or imagine if you had these whole groups of hawkers sharing resources and knowledge.
Ooh, that's a cool idea. Like a network of hawkers, each with their own thing, coming together to make this awesome mobile market. A pop-up festival of pure entrepreneurial energy.
See, it just shows you how powerful this profession really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive, the one thing I hope you take away is this. If you've got that ambition, that desire to create and connect, don't ignore it.
Well said. And who knows, maybe this got some ideas flowing for you. Maybe it sparked something, or just opened your eyes to what's out there, just waiting for someone to come along and make it happen.
To all the hawkers, past, present, and future, the ones who take those dreams and turn them into reality.
Yeah.
One sale, one customer, one connection at a time.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What could you bring to the world of hawkers? Until next time, happy hustling.